Can I thank Fiona, and can I also thank John? Can we wish John a very happy birthday? And thank him for all the work that he did in making sure that Carl's Water Biscuits were back on track after the floods. That was fantastic. Certainly, from my point of view, as a lover of cheese, that was brilliant, so thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I really just want to do 3 points, if I may. The first point is to thank you. Not just thank you for attending Parliament today, but actually thank you for the enormous economic contribution that you make to the United Kingdom and all parts of the United Kingdom. If we're looking, and we're trying to do this in the Select Committee with Biz, if you're looking at which sectors make huge impact when it comes to what a modern, developed economy looks like, food and drink manufacturing is immense. GVA of £21.9 billion, 400,000 jobs, the largest manufacturing sector in the country, and we don't shout about that as much as we should. When I think that manufacturing has to play a central role in 21st century, the British economy, we talk about aerospace, we talk about automotives, we do not talk about food and drink manufacturing as much as we should. So these events are really important for that. And I also want to thank you for the enormous impact, as I said, not just in terms of a particular area of the United Kingdom, but those jobs and the supply chain are all across the nations and nations of the UK, spreading prosperity in a way that is really, really important. And I also want to thank, in terms of the projection of British values. Now, in many respects, maybe what's happened in the last couple of weeks, we've taken a knock in the international standing, and we need to think about what is the soft power that the United Kingdom projects across the world. Well, actually, in terms of food and drink, the brands that are known, the products that are consumed across the world, you are playing an enormous part in helping to ensure that Britain is seen as a place of high quality. And the export markets and the growing potential of those global markets are absolutely immense. I really want to thank the FTF. The Biz Select Committee are currently concluding our inquiry into exports and the role of UKTI. And Iain Wright came and gave evidence. And I have to say, I don't think the Secretary of State is here yet, so I can praise the government while she's not here. The collaboration between the industry and with government, with DEFRA being singled out as somebody who has put exports as part of its core objectives, is admirable. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, not other Whitehall departments don't have that. And I think it's to be commended by the Secretary of State leading from the front and ensuring that food and drink and exports are at the heart of what her department wants to do. I think is exactly what we need to be doing and what other departments should learn. So that collaboration between industry and government is very much welcome. Thank you very much. The second... I haven't finished yet, sorry. I know I've only got 7 minutes, but I'm sorry. The second point I want to make is, if we were talking a year ago in the aftermath of the general election, I think what any politician would have been saying here is the pressing economic challenge of this Parliament is addressing the productivity plan. The gap between ourselves and our major competitors in terms of how do we raise living standards, how do we ensure that competitiveness and wealth creation continues so that we can enjoy living standards to rise now and in the future is paramount. Now, people might think that has changed over the past couple of weeks, but I think it's to the FDF's credit that today's the launch of the productivity challenge and the response, because despite what's happening, that remains the central economic challenge. And the great work that the FDF, that you as members are doing in terms of highlighting the importance of skills, trying to attract new people, school leavers, graduates, postgraduates into the industry, relying on innovation as a means of driving forward innovation. These are all things that we should be concentrating on, and I think that report is absolutely vital. Well done to the FTF for ensuring that today that productivity challenge is going to be addressed. Now, you've got a lot to be welcome about. You've got a lot to thank yourselves for. The 11% increase in productivity by your industry in the past 5 years is immense. It's fantastic. It compares with the general economic productivity increase of 0.5%. So you're doing great work. But actually, the difference between when productivity fell off a cliff around about 2008, 2009, you've got to have an uplift of round about 20%. So a lot of work that's been done, but you've still got enormous challenges. But focusing on skills, innovation and exports, I think, are the right things to be doing. So I think in terms of pressing on with productivity as a major priority, that's what you need to be doing. But no politician can stand up in Westminster these days and not talk about Brexit. And I do worry that what we'll see with the government in a state of paralysis, the Prime Minister quite understandably, for personal and political reasons, saying, it's not for me to negotiate in terms of Europe, means that there's a vacuum. There's a lack of authority. No decisions are being made. And I worry that that means that we won't be able to address the productivity challenges. I'm pleased that the FDF were represented at the Business Roundtable that the Secretary of State for Business conducted last Tuesday. That shows that you should be at the heart of economic and business policy making because you're a winning sector. But I do worry that government will be in a state of paralysis for a number of months. The lack of certainty is going to be concerned. And who's going to step into the breach? The Labour Party? My party? I don't really think that we're in a position to be doing that at the moment. And so what we really need to be doing is industry and the select committees and Parliament coming up, stepping up to the breach and making sure that we focus on the key challenges that are going to affect your industry. And I just want to mention 4 key things. We announced on the Select Committee in the past few days the 4 themes that we really want to concentrate on in terms of making sure that we can add value, that we can scrutinise what the government is doing, but crucially making sure that what industry wants is amplified to government, or we put the case as clearly as we can. Now I think those 4 themes are very relevant to the food and drink industry. First, inward investment. I do worry that in this wake of unprecedented uncertainty, boards, parent boards who might not reside in the United Kingdom might be thinking, let's just hold off that piece of capital investment. Let's just wait and see in the next quarter or the next other quarter what happens. And if we're in a global race, we're going to lose ground if that happens. We need clarity and certainty now. We need firm government action to make sure that inward investment and the drive to innovation and competitiveness continues. The second thing we want to look at is regulation. Now this is your literally bread and butter in terms of what you need to be doing. We still require regulation, but what does regulation in the food and drink industry look like post-Brexit that's in the interests of business, workers and consumers? What is it that we need to be doing? And we hope to be addressing that as well. The third thing is trade deals. And given the growing importance of the export market for your products, again, what do we want to see our trade deals look like that are in the interests of British industry and in the interests specifically of food and drink? And fourth and finally what we want to look at is higher education and the skills gap. Now quite rightly you're pushing through the value chain. You want to employ more graduates and postgraduates. You're emphasising the importance of science, technology and innovation as a means of improving productivity. Our higher education sector is the best in the world. It is the real jewel in Britain's economy. Now how do we maintain that? And how do we ensure that it has the capacity and capability to maintain that competitive advantage and fulfil your needs in industry? You've been exceptionally good in working with us on the Select Committee in the past year, not just in terms of exports, but in terms of what we did with our productivity challenge as well. I hope that continues because I think that dialogue between Parliament and industry, in the light of what happened after the 23rd of June, is needed more than ever. I don't want to be this Yarboo type of politician. I just want what's best for Britain. And I think in terms of that, making sure that we can work, challenging certainly, but working in collaboration with government to try and get the best deal for Britain and British industry is something that I really want to put at the heart of the Select Committee's work. So thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you're doing. It's really important. I hope that we can continue to work closely together to ensure that the food and drink sector, which is an enormous success for Britain, continues now and in the future. Thank you.